Unfortunately, last week, one of our main guests fell through. But we're not just gonna settle there. I wanted to make sure we bring in one of the biggest entrepreneurs and creators in Austin, Texas. This is Lukas Pakter.
She'll catch up on the AR, how you did that?
Founder of Haus, formerly known as Haus, a men's athletic performance apparel company that has completely taken over the internet, and Outliers, a private community for ambitious founders and creators. His ventures are on track to generate over $10 million in revenue. In this interview, Lukas breaks down his blueprint, how he's been able to raise to 7 figures, why community is the secret to growth, and the mindset that keeps him ahead of the game. And remember, this isn't a backup episode. It is straight business game with one of the sharpest entrepreneurs in the city. Let's get into it.
Who am I here with today, and what do you do?
My name is Lukas Pakter, and I'm an entrepreneur.
And how much will you do in revenue this year across all your companies?
We'll probably do about 10 by the end of the year. One is a men's activewear brand called Haus. That's where most of that 10 comes from. And then I have a founders group that's maybe like $500,000. And then I have a new business that's like, it's pre-revenue right now. So it's a tech software tool. Hasn't launched yet.
Did you have to raise money for any of those companies?
I raised a little under $1 million for Haus, the men's activewear brand. Didn't need to raise, and I won't raise for the second one because it's a founders group, so there's really no need for capital. And then for the new one, maybe might have to raise a lot. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna launch it and see where it goes from there.
For someone out there that is wanting to raise money for a business, what would you recommend?
For me, I probably pitched over 130 people. I got no's from 90% of them. No one wanted to invest in an unprofitable clothing brand. I pitched family offices, I pitched VCs, and so no one really believed in it. Wasn't getting any bites from VCs or family offices, so I went to my friends. I said, yo, I need your guys' help. And a lot of them were like, dude, we'll totally invest in you. We believe in you. And so it really depends on what your goal is, right? It's like, if you want to grow as fast as possible, probably VC, right? But the VC world and the family office world, it's almost like a game. It's actually much less about like your revenue and your profits and all that. And it's more of, it's like talking to a girl and, playing hard to get, creating this whole archetype around your business, making sure that other people bring up your business first. I didn't know any of these things prior to raising, and that's why I didn't have any success. And, now I have a lot of friends and guys in my founders group that have raised like almost 9, some of them like up to 9 figures for their businesses. And that's always what they say. It's a big game. So it depends what your goal is, right? If you want to grow as fast as possible, VC, but it's a very hard world to break into if you've never been in there before, you don't have the connections. And then if you just kind of want to be left alone and you want maybe strategic capital, then I would say go after angels who have businesses or experience or connections in your industry.
In community, it's so important. One of your other companies, you have something called the Outliers. How important is community when building a brand or multiple brands?
Dude, it's everything. Most people grow up with this idea of like grind in silence, don't tell other people what you're doing. Keep everything to yourself, right? Let your results speak for yourself. And in theory, that sounds great. What most people don't understand is like, you have to ask in order to get, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. The person who's not willing to get uncomfortable and face rejection is not going to get anything. They're not going to go anywhere. So, I spent 7-8 months trying to raise money. Like I said, pitched over 130 people. 90% of those were no's. I maybe ended up getting like a little less than 20 investors total. Now for my new business, right? I run this founders group. Most of the guys in there are doing well over 8 figures. I just mentioned my new business to the people in that group. People want to throw me money for this new idea. And that's also because it's a great idea and it has a lot of potential, especially for the problem it's solving. It's because everyone that's investing, they know me, they know my history, and they know my network now, most importantly. So any problem that I ever have, literally anything, manufacturers, sourcing, legal issues, raising capital, finding A+ talent, any sort of like business bottleneck I have, I either know someone that has a solution or someone can point me in the right direction. So that's kind of like the power of having the right community.
So relationships are powerful then?
I don't know anything. You ask me like, what are your skill sets? Like, what are you good at? Nothing except yapping maybe and connecting people. We're the fastest growing menswear brand on TikTok right now. The only reason that we are in that position is because my mentor is the founder of the fastest growing e-commerce brand in history and the fastest growing clothing brand in history, same company. Everything that I've learned, everything that I've put in place in my own business has pretty much come from him. If I didn't know this guy, I would still be struggling to figure it out, probably maybe business would have even gone under. So knowing the right people is everything, right? Instead of trying to figure out something on your own through failing and losing money and wasting time, just find the people that have already done that before, get their advice, get their input, and then go about making what you feel like is the best decision. That's my best advice.
For anybody out there that wants to build better relationships, what would you recommend for that?
Operate authentically and honestly. You know, once again, I think there's like so many like lessons in like talking to girls, for example. If you go on a first date with a girl and you're just bullshitting the entire time, maybe she likes you, but you're building a relationship off lies and it's not gonna go anywhere. It's the same thing with business. I feel like I've built a very powerful and successful network. Almost every connection that I have established and every relationship that I have has stemmed from me being vulnerable, me making a video or a piece of content talking about losing money, almost going bankrupt, taking out loans. Like everybody on social media these days is flexing watches and cars and penthouses, and that stuff's cool. And I do think there's value in posting that stuff because it's motivational or whatever. But like the only reason that I have such a great network is because I post the shitty sides. Whenever people apply for my group and I ask them like, how'd you hear about me? How'd you hear about this group? It's not like, oh, I saw that your business is going to do 10 million in revenue this year. It's, dude, I actually saw that video of how you had to take out that horrible interest like predator loan to survive. And I really relate to that. And so I felt like it was authentic and I wanted to reach out. I think if anyone out there wants to build meaningful relationships, the best thing to do is put yourself out there, whether it's through content, showing up to cool events, cold calling, reaching out to people, sending people DMs, and get vulnerable, right? Because if you're just building a relationship off lies, I guarantee it won't lead to anything valuable.
If you were to leave one more piece of advice for the audience that's watching, what would it be?
That's a great question. This is a little off topic, but this is probably the thing that's been most valuable to me my entire life. And it's the exact same thing that my mentor does. If you're not going to take this advice from me, take it from him. He's going to be worth probably close to $1 billion by the end of the year. Visualize everything down to the dot. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get anywhere you want to be? If you were in a desert and your goal is to get out of that desert, if you just look at the ground and start walking, you will ultimately end up walking in circles. There'll be no direction. But if you want to get out of there and use the desert as like this analogy for the shitty situation you're in life or the circumstances you currently have, you have to be looking somewhere, right? So that journey out of the desert is going to be hot, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tiring, and it's going to suck. And if you don't have ultimate goal in your mind of where you want to end up, you're not going to be able to suffer through that and you're not going to make it. Like, you're not going to last. So for me, I have envisioned my future, my goals, my business, my success, even the relationships I want to have, my family one day. Like, I envision everything so much and so often that like whenever something happens, it's not even new, it's not even surprising. Like, we just hit 5 million in sales. It's like, okay, I'm not even happy. I'm like, it's cool, it's a cool number. Yeah. But then same thing when we hit 10 million, 25, 50, 100, I'll be like, okay, that's cool, but like, I already saw this 3 years ago. I already did it, right? I just have to go do it again. That's how
you felt like you already had it.
I feel like I already had it. I literally, like, there's this concept of the future, it's made up, right? So if you think you can do something, then you can go do it. You just actually have to visualize it and then you have to create a plan.